The legend has it that we have a fairy mother and a dragon father. The dragon is supposed to live in the water, and the fairy is supposed to live in heaven. And then somehow they met each other and married. Oh, usual stuff. And then the mother gave birth to 100 eggs. And then the 100 eggs hatched into 100 children. And after a while, you know, like many of the marriages, they say sayonara. Yeah? The husband maybe found another fairy, I don't know. It didn't say so in the history. But he said, well, I am from the dragon race, and you are from the fairy abode. We cannot be together. They have been together, all right, right? Had 100 children even. And say now maybe he had it. Maybe it's 3 years each or 7 years each. He say, oh, we can't live together. So you take 50 children, go to the plain or mountain, I forgot which one go where. And he took the other 50. The 50 go with the father, maybe to the plain, I guess, because they have more water there. And the mother with the other 50 children went to the mountain. That's why there was a song. You heard it on Christmas Day? I sent it to the team. Did you hear that song? Da 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 da. Tôi đi từ ải Nam Quan sau vài ngàn năm lẻ. No? Yes. Yes? How many words? Raise hands. How many words that? You know the hip-hop that the team did for me, and then I sent him this one? Yeah? Okay. So in that song, the composer told the story of a princess and her lover, and also mentioned that part of the story. The general, you know, the commander of the army said, I'm coming from Nam Quan Pass, yeah? Several thousand years later, since the day of one clan split into two divisions, some pass the mountain and forest and make their own establishments and establish a country, making a border, near the border of other countries. Yeah. That means they make their own country then, yeah, within their own border, without the border of other countries. And the other 50 going toward the sea. It's almost near there. So they established in the plain, you know. Yeah. And he meant that he came from that kind of descendants of ancestry. But now he is accompanying the princess all the way from Nam Quan Pass, meaning it's far north. Before Vietnam wasn't such a long country like now. And then he accompanied her, even though in love with each other. She had to sacrifice so that the war would stop and peace return to Vietnam and that country named Champa. But he's in love with her, and it was even more painful that he had to bring her to the other men. And he remembered the time of division in the same clan before. So he said just several thousand years later, there's another separation. He thought it's just as big, just as epic, you know, epically big as that time. Because of his pain, you know, of course it's as big, yeah, he felt that way. And then he accompanied her to over there, and even the wind helped to send her to the other country with a different song, different languages, and stranger to his heart and her heart, something like that. And he said he remembered before he was going with her, but not like that. He's following her and are together, but they going out to make a secret street and pathway in order to encounter the enemy at that time. And now it's a different road, you know. He's going on a different mission now. It's different than before. Before it was more noble, you know. They go together and think of the way to protect Vietnam at that time. And now it's different. She's going to another country for peace and using her beauty to exchange for the expansion of the country as well. Not just peace, but they give dowry, 2 big provinces in exchange for her marriage. So after that, if you're tired, you can go, my love. We're getting overtired quickly, I know that. It happens to me all the time. I just have to go and splash my face or, go exercise or do some silly things. Turn upside down, inside out, do silly things. And then wake up again, go to work. Otherwise, there's no way, If I drop to sleep, I can sleep all day, all night. Yeah, I can always sleep. Yeah. Well, don't ask me what kind of sleep. I can always, all day, all night. I don't need to eat or drink. If I can sleep, I just sleep through peacefully, like the bear in winter. It's a very noble song, a noble sacrifice. And then afterward, when the king of that country died, it's describing his feelings while he's walking, riding with her to the other country. It says he looked at both sides of a beautiful house and family. It looks so lovely and cozy. But how many times have these houses been desolated, depleted, shabby because of the war, And then the moss, is growing on the roof instead of the red bricks. That's what he was saying. He was telling his beloved all these things. Or maybe he's just telling himself in his heart only. And he always called her when he talks like that, saying, oh, my love, this and that and that. But I'm not sure whether he talked to her directly or because of his position and her position. He is just a God, quiet and thinking all this by himself. And then he says, while traveling on this road, a main highway road, at that time they call it the Mandarin Road, because he had to bring her to the other country, it seems like a defeat to him. So he was thinking of the time when he won over the Chinese invaders. He was thinking of all that. And now he's walking here, the same road, same blooded and bone road. He thought of the history, and he felt so choked, so sad. That's the only time that he lamented. The rest is just say, okay, I follow you for peace sake. Yeah. So that all will have security and safety, live their life dignifiedly. Yeah. There was a very sad song, but it sings very beautifully. And he made it as if you can imagine the horse carriage is running and the horse is galloping alongside. And later, because that king died, I'm not sure if I have forgotten any other detail meanwhile, but never mind. The king died, and according to that country tradition, the queen and the concubines have to be burned alive to die with the king together. Same with India before, because they misinterpreted one word only. Many Indian women died, especially the royal woman, died in fire, burned alive to show their faithfulness to the king or whoever rich at that time. It's supposed to be like the main wife and the other wives standing in front of the fire, remembering and respecting the deceased king. But the word front is deleted or gone or forgotten. So instead of standing in front of the fire, it has become standing in the fire to remember the king and show faithfulness and blah, 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 blah. Just to a dead body. You understand that? Yes. So that's why I told you before, some of my interpreters could also make my face go away, Told you already. So it's a very dangerous job, huh? So you guys there, we're thankful to you, but be careful, yeah? Don't just kill again. So At that time, the Champa country probably was influenced by the philosophy of India, because India was a more mighty country, you know, more sophisticated at that time, more mighty in every way, yeah, more civilized, more advanced in many ways, in medicine, in philosophy, in spiritual ways, in history of establishment, yeah, many more kings and always powerful, winning this country, that country all the time. Nobody dared to invade India at that time. So big and mighty, strong and rich, yeah. So maybe many of the nearby neighboring countries receive influence from India. Therefore, you can see like many architecture is similar to old-time India. And you can see the history of India, the books and photos and all that. For example, the Angkor Wat of Cambodia, or the Buddha, and Thailand, many golden temples and many golden Buddha, real gold. They just discovered some decades ago that the Buddha was real gold, solid gold. I've seen that Buddha. I took a photo with it. It's real gold. But before that, people worry that in the time of Buddhism declining, they put mud outside, you know, of the Buddha statue. Made it look like just a normal earth statue. Until long afterwards, you know, in modern times. Recently, a few decades ago, people discovered by chance that inside is pure solid gold Buddha, shining forever, like his heart and his love. Therefore, maybe Champa is also influenced by that. Therefore, we have still many of these constructions. The architecture looks similar also to Buddha's land, India or Cambodia or Thailand. The old architecture, some are still standing there. Yeah. Many hundreds of years or thousands of years still standing, some. But this Champa has been completely eliminated from the map of the world. Same with their people, their culture, and their history. Everything wiped out. Because after the king died, yeah, and I think the Vietnamese king wanted to use this situation, and also was feeling so bad that if the king, another king come up, maybe he wants to attack our country again and get another princess again, a beautiful princess like she was, and then maybe burn her alive again, or how many more women have to die. So many reasons. Also maybe greed, maybe political, you know, power, and then they attack the Champa country. Maybe because also as a revenge for before, you see, for forcing them to have to offer the princess and make war, you know, cause a lot of suffering. Then they won the war. And then somehow it's like ethnic cleansing, you know, completely destroy. Nobody would ever know that country ever existed, except in history. You know, some old map or something, that's all. When I was in high school, in Quy Nhơn, senior high school, over there is almost like most of the center of the Champa country before. So Quy Nhơn and the surroundings in that province have many of these kinds of beautiful structures, architecture before. It's not clear what they did that for. I guess maybe the burial grave of some royalty or, you know, high position officials, because it's not hollow inside, you know. It's like a solid piece of memorial, and they carved beautiful things on it. And so the ethnic people of Champa were completely wiped out by the Vietnamese people at that time. So even though I keep saying the North Vietnamese are now taking over the South Vietnam, and many people fear for their lives and run away. It's just a history repeating itself, I guess. is the collective karma of the race before the Vietnamese and now reborn and revenge. Otherwise, how can you explain it? The same country before, the whole country, with so much history and tradition, everything exactly the same. Well, except for a few different dishes, and the accent is different, but we understand each other completely, except for a few slangs. Well, every country has that, yeah? A few slang words. For example, we call a miss, like young girl, we say miss is a cô, yeah? Cô đẹp means beautiful, young, beautiful girl. We call it cô, C-O with the head on top, cô. But in central Vietnam, Huế, the old capital, they call it O. Just O. O means cô, means miss, young lady, yeah. Just like that, but we understand each other very well. The accent is different. It sounds funny in some areas though, and we make fun of each other. But because we understand each other, like if you keep watching you probably watched already the tribute to my magician, did you? The first part? Oh, don't miss any part, okay? It might be a little normal in the beginning, but at the end, don't miss it, huh? If you miss everything else, don't miss the end, okay? The end is the real show, okay? But we have to do slowly until the end, huh? Cannot show you the end and then nothing. And then you don't understand why is that. What happened? What happened to the rest of the story, okay? Now, do you remember I made fun of the man, of the devoted disciple? I imitated his accent and everybody laughed, okay? Like in Vietnam, in the South, we say Quảng Nam, and we say đi qua, hay là đi qua, okay? But in his area is Quảng Nam, đi qua, understand? Yeah, so we make fun of them. We make fun of each other all the time. The North makes fun of the South. The South makes fun of the North. They say, "Oh, you are water spinach." And they call the North people water spinach because they like to eat water spinach a lot. And the North people call the Southern people, "Oh, you are," I say, soya sprouts. Because the Southern people, they put a lot of soya sprouts and they eat raw a lot more than the North. You see, and they put sprouts in their salad. They put sprouts in their soup, or they eat sprouts with rice, or with everything else as well, of course. It's not like the North only eats the water spinach, or the South only eats soya sprouts. We just make fun of each other, like that. I can speak many different dialects, so therefore I can afford to make fun of anybody I like. I'm a kind of I say humorist at heart, and they're free to make fun of me anytime. I make fun of myself also a lot, right? So now and then I revenge, make fun of somebody else instead, just for fun, just among us, among our initiates. I don't offend people outside. I know I'm small, I'm very small and fragile.